Honorable Shivambu.
Thank you very much, Chair. It's apparent now with the submissions of the board members, Naidu and Kumalo, that there is a bigger problem than we had imagined with regards to the SABC board. It looks like there's a clique within the board that is running the board according to its own rules, because when the High Courts and the Supreme Court of Appeal says that you are wrong, they say no, we're not. 243 members of parliament. That person, the chief whip, is isolated by Hlaudi and banished that no, he's the one who's wrong. When the minister in the presidency speaks on behalf of the executive, on behalf of cabinet, to express concern about the actions of the SABC, he's isolated as one person that Jeff Khadebe is wrong. When the public protector speaks and then they are in the process of implementing the remedial action of the public protector, and then they realize that somewhere in the process of implementing that, part of the implementation might mean that Hlaudi must go, let's take it to review, the public protector is wrong. I'm sure even when we are unanimously speaking today as parliament here, they're going to say the same thing, that we're wrong, all of us. When we're saying that there is something fundamentally wrong with the SABC board, all of us are wrong here, except Hlaudi. So everything else is being sacrificed on the altar of protecting Hlaudi. Who is Hlaudi? I don't think we must be held at ransom for such a long time. And one myth that we must dismiss decisively is that he is the one who single-handedly introduced 90%, he must therefore be worshipped. That call has been there even before he was anything in the SABC. We were in the ANC, we called artists before. And they made the call long before he was the CEO, before he was anything significant there. They made themselves that we want 90% or a certain representation in terms of content of broadcasting in the SABC. It's not his creation. So the hired crowd that is outside there that thinks that they're coming to protect 90%, it's not Hlaudi's policy, it has been there. The people in the industry themselves have been making the demand that there must be localization in terms of broadcasting in South Africa. And it's a logical thing to do that. Let us broadcast local content in a manner that will empower artists and those that perform in that particular space. So I think that the recommendation, actually the decisive action that should happen, is that out of their own will, the board members as well, all of them must dissolve themselves now. We initially said that we must have an inquiry. It will take us a very long time. They must leave. They must actually first remove the illegal appointment of Hlaudi, leave as well, so that we constitute a board that is going to take forward the functions of the SABC, so that we have an entity that is properly managed, not by the whims and needs of individuals. We think that they are much more important and more correct than anyone else. Please do not drag us through a long process, a wasteful process of taking everyone to court, review on the disciplinary hearing, review on the public protector. You'll possibly even review what we're doing here today. So please save us time and give an opportunity to a very important public institution, a public broadcaster that has to be saved so that it benefits all South Africans in a decisive way. So let us not really waste time. I think that amongst yourself, you must find it deeper in yourself that it's not about you, it's about South Africa. We have to protect the constitution, the rules that govern our country, and everything else that is necessary. The painful point which is raised by the board member there, that it must not be easy in all public institutions to destroy institutional memory. You can't, he says it's institutional genocide. It must not be easy just to arrive and you think that you are some superhero and then all of a sudden everyone else must go because you are there. It must not be easy, because there are certain things that you will make mistakes on, which if there were people who are experienced about the same thing would have advised otherwise. It's one of the things that has to be dealt with far much more differently. So perhaps the new board that comes into office must go and re-recruit some of the critical skills that have been lost because of the bullying tactics of Hlaudi and the people who are supporting him, so that we have a functional public broadcaster which is representative of all South Africans, which broadcasts local content and not individualize it as an achievement of one individual. It's an achievement of the industry itself. Like when the Creative Workers Union was formed, part of their founding resolutions was on proper local content. The manifestos, I think, of the ANC, of the EFF speak about local content in the public broadcasting far much more decisively. So it must never be ghettoized to be made a Hlaudi innovation. So the people who have been hired to support him must really be assured that there is no need to support Hlaudi to have 90%. We can have 90% and a properly run SABC. It doesn't mean that if you have 90%, you must have an SABC that is run like a spaza shop and where people can just change and shift positions as and when they wish. So I think that is must be very decisive in terms of how we provide guidance so that we do not have the recurrence of the same problems that we have been facing. We say the time of games has come to an end now. We must take serious decisions. Sure.
Thank you. Honorable Mbinda.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is a simple point. I wanted to point out to the acting GCEO and the gentleman that at the back there. I can't remember what your designation was there. Yeah, I wanted to point out that you have come here to mislead Parliament. You come here and you say to us that there was a disciplinary action, a disciplinary proceeding that was implemented against Mr. Hlaudi as part of your complying to the public protector's remedial actions. That is not correct, because here, this is what it says. In its remedial action, the report says the SABC board must ensure that there's a bulletproof before that, and the second one says appropriate disciplinary action is taken against the following. And then it mentions Mr. Motsoeneng, Ms. Lulama, and so on and so forth. Now it says disciplinary action must be taken against, not a disciplinary inquiry in which you are then going to investigate what the public protector has already investigated. And this is what the board means when it says that you have then taken over you've undermined the office of the public protector. And for that reason, I think it's clear that you are not fit. You talk about corporate governance as if you've been complying. You mention all of these things, but you then go and mislead Parliament on a fundamental issue like that. The public protector must not be undermined. This is a lesson that we learned in the Constitutional Court case against the Nganla case. And for that reason, I think this board is not fit. Thank you very much.